हेलो एवरीवन, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। अभी तक मैंने ये बताया है कि कुछ लोग हैं इस दुनिया में जो बिलीव करते हैं कि अर्थ फ्लैट है। उन लोगों का ताल्लुक किसी भी रिलीजन या कल्ट की बेस पे नहीं है, बल्कि सिर्फ और सिर्फ एविडेंस की बेस पे है। और ये एविडेंस यूट्यूब पे ऑलरेडी अवेलेबल है, जिसमें से सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट बात मैं लास्ट एपिसोड में शेयर कर चुका हूँ कि अर्थ की कोई भी रियल पिक्चर नहीं है हमारे पास। और हम सबके दिमाग में अर्थ का एक बुत है जो बचपन में एक कार्टून पिक्चर दिखाकर हमारे दिमाग में बनाया गया था। इस वीडियो में मैं कंपिलेशन वीडियो शेयर कर रहा हूँ जिसमें ये डिस्कस हो रहा है कि अर्थ का कोई कर्वेचर नहीं है और वो स्पिन भी नहीं कर रही है। और ये बातें आपको यूट्यूब पे आम मिल जाती हैं अगर आपने फ्लैट अर्थ पे सही तरह से रिसर्च की हो। बिल्कुल वैसे अगर आपने मून लैंडिंग पे रिसर्च की हो तो आपको फुल डिटेल वीडियोस मिल जाती हैं जिसमें वो सब प्रूफ्स होते हैं कि कैसे मून लैंडिंग सिर्फ एक फेक फुटेज थी। ये कंपिलेशन वीडियो मैंने 10 मिनट्स लंबी बनाई है ओरिजिनल वीडियो में से, जो कुछ घंटे लंबी है। मैं फुल वीडियो का लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में शेयर कर दूंगा। आप ये सब रिसर्च खुद से करें जिसमें आपको ये पता चल जाएगा कि क्या क्या बात सच नहीं है। और जब मैं आगे कुरान से प्रूफ दिखा के समझाने की कोशिश करूंगा कि असल में सच क्या है, तो आपको आसानी से समझ आ जाएगा।
There was a famous experiment back in the 1800s in England called the Bedford Levels experiment. Now, the Bedford Levels is a canal that is perfectly straight for 6 miles. Okay, so what a chap called Samuel Rowbottom did was he took a telescope, put it in the water about 8 inches above the water, and he had a friend, had a friend in a rowboat with a flag on the back, row all the way to the other end, and he was able to see the flag on the back of the rowboat the whole distance. Now, according to spherical trigonometry, the curve of the Earth is 8 inches per mile squared. So over 5 miles, that's 5 times 5, 25, times 8, which is 200, which is works out, that's 200 inches, which works out at 16 feet. That means the boat should have been 16 feet below the horizon. He shouldn't have been able to see the boat. Now, you know, the scientists will say, oh, refraction and this and light bending around the Earth and stuff. But the fact is, you know, it's perfectly flat. And he in his book, he puts forward many arguments that show that, or many experiments that show the Earth is always perfectly flat. They say that you see the mast, you know, go down last. It's literally just the way your vision works. Yeah, it's perspective and atmospherics basically. The limit of your vision is supposedly 3 miles. And then after 3 miles, you're supposed to see the boat start to go over the horizon. It's funny that Neil deGrasse Tyson again says that, explains that you can't see the curvature of the Earth from a plane. He says this, you can't see the curvature of the Earth from a plane because you're not high enough. The Earth is so big that you can't get high enough to see the curvature. Yet, you can apparently see a boat go over the curvature over the distance of 3 miles, which doesn't make sense. The thing is, when you look out and you see a boat start to go over the horizon, if you suddenly get a pair of binoculars and look, it comes back again. And once it goes out of the sight of your binoculars, if you get a telescope, yeah, it comes back again. It doesn't go over any curve of the horizon. What we found, many people have done experiments with very high-powered zoom cameras. There's been a few famous examples just recently of a man who took a picture across the Great Lakes from Michigan and was able to see, I believe it's Chicago, which he shouldn't have been able to see. And the television station basically said it was a mirage. But they always say it's a mirage, but for a mirage to happen, you have to have very specific atmospheric conditions. And there have been so many people who have seen exactly the same thing on different days, different seasons, always the same. You know, it's not a mirage. It's simply that you're looking across a plane. You see in a kind of pyramid shape. Yeah, you have a horizon at your eye level, and everything above the horizon will go down into the horizon. Yeah, everything below the horizon will seem to go up. Just like if you're in a long hallway, you'll see that the walls will start to move in, and the roof and the floor will start to move into the centre. Yeah, so literally between you and the object you're looking at, there's all sorts of things, sort of like waves going up and down, and while you can't see them, if they're beyond the limit of your sight, sometimes they can still obscure what you're looking at. But it's just because they're between you and it. And it's just the way, it's literally perspective. It's better if I could draw a diagram, but it's a very difficult subject to get your head around if you're not used to it. But it is perspective.
The horizon, for instance, is always completely flat, and you don't feel any motion. So if you were just born today and looked out, you wouldn't assume that you're standing on a spinning ball. You'd assume that you are on a flat, motionless plane. So to assume that we are on a spinning ball is actually contrary to our common sense and our everyday experience. And there's also experiments that have been done to test whether we're on a spinning ball or not.
One sort of other proof is there's a place in Bolivia called Salar de Uyuni, which is a salt flat. It's literally 100 miles wide one way and 80 miles across, and it's perfectly flat. And when it rains, literally you get an inch of water, and it looks like a perfect mirror. Now, how does that happen on a sphere? Yeah, it shows you that, if you're one end of this salt flat, you can see perfectly clearly the other end 100 miles away. So it's just showing you that the Earth is flat, and without the effect of the waves in the sea, you'll be able to see a whole lot further. The other thing that's about the spinning Earth is looking at the stars. Now, directly above the axis of spin is the pole star, Polaris, okay, directly over the North Pole. And we're told that the reason that all the stars spin around the North Star is because the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Okay, seems to make sense, because if you put a long exposure camera pointing at the North Star, you'll see the stars will make perfect circles around, perfect star trails. The only problem is the Earth is also orbiting the Sun at 67,000 miles an hour. Okay, the Sun is moving, dragging the Earth and all the planets up that way or that way at 600,000 miles an hour. So why do we see perfect circles? Because that's the slowest speed, that's slowest motion in that mix, and yet the Earth is moving 67 times faster that way and 600 times faster that way. So you should see the stars do all sorts of strange motions, but you don't. You only see them make these perfect circles. That tells me that it's the stars that are moving, not the Earth.
Just our common sense everyday perception of the Earth, it is flat as far as we can tell. It is motionless as far as we can tell. And everything in the sky is revolving around us as far as we can tell. If nobody told us otherwise, we'd logically assume that the Earth was flat, motionless, with everything in the sky revolving around us.
If the Earth is 25,000 miles in circumference, there must exist a curvature drop of 8 inches times the mile when you square the mile. 1 mile means there should be an 8-inch curvature drop. 2 miles, 2 times 2 times 8 is 32. That's 32-inch drop. 3 miles would be a 72-inch drop. And this would exponentially continue. Here's the longest bridge in the world. the Danyang Kongchon Grand Bridge in China. 102.4 miles long. There should exist nearly 7,000 feet of curvature drop in that bridge. 7,000 foot curvature drop. Do you see it? It ain't there. Look at the horizon. It's flat.